Hello, a warm welcome back to the channel of nonsense and my review of the motorbike version of Taylor Swift, because you're either going to love it or hate it. It's going to make you angry or it's going to make you horny. It's also quite expensive to see, and it's always going to be popular despite the fact it's put together by lots of sweaty Germans. Sorry, mixed metaphors here. Anyway, this is my review of the new BMW R1300 GS Adventure. I've been living with it for nearly a month. Here's my final thoughts. Not my final thoughts. I'm not dying after this. Well, hopefully not. Oh, that was a gunshot. If BMW was doing its own eras tour, this would be the expensive era. A GSA costs from 19 grand, which is £2,400 more than a regular GS. But you're never going to see a 19 grand GS Adventure. You're going to see the TE model. That's 21 grand. Now, you can add 600-700 quid if you want the automated manual version. This triple black version adds about 800 quid, so you get the black cross-spoke wheels. You get a comfort seat, which BMW's configurator says it allows you to feel more comfortable. Well done, Germany. You also get this lovely, actually almost erotic, see-through lacquered aluminium fuel tank, which apparently has undergone an elaborate grinding process. As far as I'm concerned, that just means it's been to a German nightclub and you've not been riding it. So yeah, if you're keeping up with that word soup, you'd think this is about £21,500, this particular one. It's not. It's got options. It's 24 grand. So you've got 500 quid of the adaptive vehicle height control, so it can drop itself down when you come to a standstill, which is a worthwhile option if you're a bit of a short ass. And that comes in a lower form as well. So you can have there's so many different seat heights. There's a table that BMW has made to help us, and I can't remember half it. It's got £1,000 of this rather tasty Acra double silencer, which I know is filthy. Leave me an angry comment if you hate dirty motorbikes. Now, because this is a TE version of the triple black, it gets dynamic package and the touring package. So that's your quick shifter, your pro riding modes, but not the Enduro Pro. You get the electrically adjustable screen, which I would say is a must-have, because this is the first motorbike I've ridden in a very, very, very long time where the screen can clear my head. I'm 6'3". I'll show you me sitting on this in a second. You also get these ugly pannier racks, only one of which has the electrical outlet on it. That's your electrical outlet for your top box, and if you come around here you can see there's no electrical outlet for the right hand pannier. Whatever. You also get your patented tank bag connector there, and it's also covered in hooks and straps, so you can attach adventure-y stuff to it. Look, there's that lovely, lovely tank. Finally, you do get £800. Well, if you give them £800, you get the radar at the front for your radar cruise control and your blind spot warning radars around the back. That's 800 quid, so it's getting expensive. By the way, that top case carrier is nearly 300 quid. So yes, this is a 24 grand motorbike, and in the here and now, for me, living in Surrey, that means I can't get a single insurance quote for it. Brilliant. But at least you know what you're getting when you buy a GS Adventure. You're getting an almighty adventure bike with a 30-litre fuel tank. And if I sit on it, I'm 6'3", and God, it is a little bit heavy to get out of the mud down there. It is perfect for pretty much a wide range of sizes, I would say. Now, the seat height goes all the way up to, I think it's 915mm, and all the way down to 790mm with, as I said, all the various lowering kits, lower seats, blah, blah, blah. And it's actually quite narrow between your legs, and BMW's really worked hard to make it narrow around the gusset. So if you're a short person, you can fit on it. And actually the riding position is obviously very GS. It's upright, it's very comfortable. You've got these crash bars as standard with this little lip on it, a little bit there to stop it toppling all the way over, and so you can rest your legs on it when you're going along. It feels like you take over the world on this thing. It is absolutely majestic. It is majestically heavy though as well. It's 269 kilos before lots of these options. And I think it's Bike Social weighed one of these the other day, and it's 280 kilos, which is 20 kilos shy of a Triumph Rocket 3. It gets heavy. Now, another thing that you get for your £2.5 grand over a normal GS is semi-active suspension. As standard, you also get the de rigueur 1300cc Boxer Twin with 145 horsepower that we saw come out 2 years ago. It rattles like a baby's toy when you're riding it around at low speeds. You'll want earplugs because it just sounds plasticky, to be honest. It's fine when you're on the move and you've got earplugs in and everything else is drowning it out, but at low speeds it sounds rubbish, I have to say. And also it just doesn't have the satisfying exhaust grout and the same brap as the 1250, and I love the sound of the 1250 Boxer Twin with an Acrocan on it. This does burble on the overrun, and it is fast. It's faster than the 1250 and smoother when you're on the move, but yeah, it doesn't sound very nice. But anyway, let's show you some of this stuff before we take it for a ride, because I'm going to take this back to BMW in a minute, and you're going to come with me. Sorry. Unless you click away and go and watch, I don't know, someone better than me, like literally anyone. While I've got you, actually, if you're into adventure bikes and like me, a bit of a history nerd, do get your tickets for ABR Festival 2025, Adventure Bike Rider Festival, because Muggins here is going to be getting up on a stage and talking about, I don't know, something about doing short tours around Europe to see Second World War stuff. Right, the controls are all fairly standard BMW. It's got keyless, so you unlock it and turn it on using this button over here. Shall I show you the key actually while it's booting up? That'd be interesting, won't it? Hang on, fishing around in my pocket. There you go. Fairly standard modern BMW key with a flick out bit that you don't need because it's got a keyless fuel tank. But anyway, standard BMW dashboard. This one's got £700 of BMW Navigator, which is integrated. You're paying for the integration. I know a normal sat nav is about 400 quid. BMW, 300 quid more, but you can control it using your motorbike. And it's actually pretty good. And at a stop, it's touchscreen as well, and you can adjust your media, connect your phone, and see rides and stuff. I've used it. It's quite good. Now, new buttons down here. That one lets you adjust your multi-rocker switch, so you can then set this to do things like your seat heating, your grips heating. I have it on the windscreen, so you can do the windscreen up and down. Cruise control is there. You can, with the radar cruise control, turn it into normal cruise control if you don't want it. You've also got this lidded compartment here, which has got a USB in there, so you can charge a big phone while going along. Look, let me prove it. I've got a new iPhone for the first time in bloody age. There you go, sorry, I've got an iPhone 16 Pro Max, which now doesn't have my children on it. That's got an MT10, and that does, with a bit of poking, did fit in there a minute ago. That just about fits in there. Will I get it out again? Yeah, it's fine. As with all motorbikes, I don't really care what they look like. I know lots of people think this looks awful, but it has grown on me. The most important thing you can do with any motorcycle is to ride it, and I'm going to do that now to Farnborough. But it's going to be a bit of YouTube cheatery, because I'm also going to film my conclusion now and stick it at the end of the video. But I've been riding this bike for a month, so don't feel cheated. Are you ready for the rattle? Rattly, right. Obviously, I've said it's keyless, it starts without a key. It's got a pretty blooming good turning circle as well, it has to be complimented for that. You can nip around a cow in the length of a donkey. But anyway, this bike is very comfortable. You knew that, I think I've already said that even. But it's just the riding position, and as a tall bloke, I feel a bit less scrunched up than I did on the 1250 GS. It is bigger, but that's a good thing for me, because I'm quite big as well. Now let's get all the boring stuff out of the way first. Low down fueling, slow speed riding. It is very, very well balanced. That's the thing for Boxer Twin. It always just feels like the mass is basically on the road, so you can potter along first gear with the clutch out and not worry about having a wobble. It's really good. It's good for filtering as well, apart from the fact it's wide. It's just a lovely amount of engine braking and everything else, so actually when you're bombing around the M25 you don't have to be using your brakes all the time. Not that that really destabilizes this bike, because it's got a funny front end. It doesn't really dive on the brakes. I think perhaps the most important thing about this bike, for me anyway, is that I've just been getting out and riding it no matter what's on the road, no matter how crappy the conditions are. I've just not really been worried about it. It just eats up days like this, road conditions like that. It's just a doddle, and it gets me out the house on a day where I wouldn't bother going out and riding my MT10 because I want to keep it shiny and looking nice. Other boring bits, the mirrors stay really vibe free even at motorway speeds and motorway revs. They're a little bit small, but they do the job really quite well. This road that I'm currently on is a 40 limit, sorry about that, but it's also incredibly bumpy. It is incredibly bumpy, and I've got this bike in road mode with the damping set to road as well. You've got 2 levels of that, and yeah, I'm getting jiggled a bit, but honestly, if I was on my MT10 or something else, I'd be out of the seat a lot of the time. And the benefit of having a big heavy bike is that it does soak up bumps in the road and just gives you this kind of planted, reassuring feel that you might get from a cruise ship on the Bay of Biscay. But yeah, there you go, look, no feet down for that, even though there's a bit of a klutz pulling out of there. And at a 30 limit you can leave it in 4th gear, and it will still go quite hard when you twist the throttle. There's no lugging. Well, there obviously is if you're being ridiculous with it, but look, for lots of 30 limits, you can just leave it in fourth and bimble along at just over 2,000 RPM. Look, I'm doing a very sensible GS review here, leave me alone. Now, I should point out, I've done a couple of videos on this bike already which cover things like motorway filtering, motorway comfort, and some slightly twistier stuff when I picked it up. So I won't be covering absolutely everything in this video. And in my first video I did have some electrical problems with it. I had it cutting power when I was on the motorway, and I've not had that since, and I have ridden this in between lots of cars filtering. You know that bumpy bit of road I just showed you? I was lying. I was absolutely lying to you. I'm sorry. I'm actually in dynamic damping. So I'm in the firmer mode, and it was still very comfortable over that bit of ground. But yeah, I suppose we should talk about the rattly elephant in the room that is this 1300 Boxer. It is fast, it is rampant when you stick it in things like dynamic pro mode. It's just got slugs of torque. It'll be trying to lift the wheel on corner exit, and the front goes light. But honestly, you can ride this bike down a bumpy country road, I would say probably more confidently and faster than on nearly any other type of motorbike, because it just deals with the bumps so well, gives you the confidence to press on. Whether that means you're having as much fun on a motorbike that doesn't go as fast down a country road, I don't think it's as fun. But the handling is very light for a big heavy bike. It's got nice wide bars, and it's just all the things you need to ride it quickly on a bumpy road are there. The front brakes are amazing. There's a sport brake option on this bike. Well, I've tried to find out in BMW what the sport brake option does. Someone said it might give it a slightly bigger piston in the BMW branded caliper, but I'm sure the normal brakes aren't lacking in any way either if they're like on the normal GS. So there we go. It is it's just a confidence inspiring bike to ride on leaf-strewn bumpy roads, and you just feel like king of the world on it, and you can see over cars for overtakes. There's lots of benefits to being a big tall bike that you might not have thought about. And also you can just leave it in third gear and have so much torque from this engine that's instantly available. Like even in third gear at 30 miles an hour, you kind of feel like you're going to fall off the back at times. It is proper quick. So when you're kind of dissing GS riders on the internet, just be aware that they can probably go down a country road faster than you can on your R1. There, I've said it. You can all go and get angry. Now look, if I just nip this car off, there we go. And the quick shifter blipper, by the way, most of the time I've been riding this has been really smooth, responsive, and done what I want it to. It's only occasionally you get a really clunky upshift when you're not expecting it. Sometimes from second to third, often from first to second, as you might expect for a big box twin, but it's not perfect. There's still room for improvement there, BMW. I know it must be an engineering challenge, but whatever, I'm here to whinge about your bike. Yeah, the down blips do sound good at times. You do get a bit of a bop, 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 bop from the exhaust on this one, but it's not as fruity sounding as a 1250. Yeah. As you'd also expect, the back brake is really good too, so controlling your speed on descents and hairpins and things like that around town, if you're filtering, is really easy. It's easy to modulate the back brake without getting to the realms of ABS pumps wearing away and clicking. It's just well sorted. I mean, we kind of knew that BMW probably wouldn't cock this up in terms of its riding ability. Yes, it's faster than the 1250. Yes, the engine's a bit smoother than the 1250 apart from the noise, and it's about as agile as the 1250 was. And I still, with this front end, you have to just believe in the front end when you're going through corners fast. You have to kind of trust in it, put your faith in it. It doesn't really say, oh yeah, here's loads of feel from the front, you can push hard. But it was ever thus, wasn't it, with BMWs like this. So yes, it's a very good bike to ride. It is so comfortable for long distance motorway schleps. I've done a couple of 100-mile trips on this in quite cold conditions, and with a few base layers, it's actually just been lovely. Most importantly, it's been getting me riding through autumn, so I've not been sitting at home feeling all sad. I've been out riding motorbikes because of the GS. Is that worth 24 grand? That's up to you and your disposable income. If you've got no mortgage, if your kids have left the house, go and get one. Okie dokie, just one thing. We talked about motorway manners being very good. It is very good with the wind up. I've got no wind blast, and the bar muffs keep your hands nice and warm as well. One thing a few older 1250 owners did ask about is, can you still hear a load of noise from the front tyre? and you can't. Even at 60, when I can hear stuff above the wind, not really getting anything. I can't hear any annoying front wheel noise, any bearing noise, any tyre roar, or anything like that. So I never really noticed that massively on the 1250, but I didn't exactly live with one. So yes, I can confirm this doesn't have that problem. Also, the heated seat, very warm right now, and I've had to turn the grips down, and it's 8 degrees at the moment. It's been a bit windy and a bit stormy, and it feels quite chilly. But yeah, all of the heated accoutrements this bike are very good, and the seat is all day comfortable, the comfort seat that you get on this triple black. So yeah, I'm not getting back up, am I? This motorbike, despite what it costs, despite what it looks like, is as epically capable as you would have hoped. As a companion for the past month riding through autumn, it's kept me safe from the weather, it's kept me warm, it's kept me dry, it's kept me confident in my road holding abilities. What I haven't done is take it off-road. You'll have to go and watch somebody who's much better off-road than I am to find out. And he said ham, what I am. You'll have to go and watch somebody who's better off-road than I am to find out what it's like off-road. But yeah, as a constant crushing tarmac bike, it is unbelievably comfortable. You will go long distances on this. You will do 300, 350 miles to a tank without any worries. It's just so expensive. I can guarantee you this will be very popular. The only niggle is the cost to change for lots of 1250 owners is going to be £9,000-10,000, and it's not £9,000 or £10,000 better than the old bike, unless you just want a GS that's still in warranty, in which case you're kind of got to get a new one. I would say stick with your 1250, but I do want one of these. If I had a garage that was big enough to have, and a bank account's big enough to have lots of bikes, I'd definitely have one of these for longer tours. It is sporty enough to ride, it is just does all the GS stuff really well, it's faster than ever, it's more tech heavy than ever, but I know lots of you don't like lots of tech on bikes. Don't buy one of these then, that'd be my suggestion. Buy a Tenere 700. Anyway, I've been Tim. This has been a very 9.5, 10 out of 10 sort of bike. I like it, you might not. Let's talk about Taylor Swift, and yeah, see you next time. Go down to the comments and tell me how much you hate it, or like it, and subscribe as well. And remember, ABR Festival next year, come and listen to me waffle on about the war on motorbikes, if they'll let me.